Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing? All right, still trying to click around and find this thing. Hey, hello, Ryan. Hey, can you hear me? Reef Keeper, hi, how are you? Is my sound working okay? What's up, West Coast Reefer, Reef Keeper, Ryan McCallum. Thank you, sir. I'm trying a new setup with some lights that are blinding me, but I can't be the aquarium tech guy with a low tech setup, so I'm working on it. What's up, exclusive? Stranger. Hey, what's up, Dre? What's up, Tim's Tank? I posted the link. Did you guys see the link? Yeah, no guests tonight. It's just a strictly open mic night. We can talk. Better not drink out of that cup, Joe. Oh, shucks. Man, and I'm also wearing the t-shirt too. Oh, man. Hello, Tyler. Oof. Yeah, MSJ is having really bad luck. I feel a little bit bad for Tom. I do feel bad for Tom. Yeah, everything is good with me. I'm good. Hey, what's up, Biz? I'm good. Tank's good. Everything's good. Hey, you hopping in tonight, Biz? It's always good talking to you, brother. I think I put the link a couple of times, yeah. Things are good, man. No complaints here. No complaints at all. I started a little bit late, so I'll give it a few more minutes, and I'll start in about 2 minutes. What up, Woody? My kids just came home from college. It's loud. All right, I understand. What's up, Woody? How's work going? Thank you, Tyler, for telling me Woody's here. All right. Let me see. I didn't have a straight up topic for tonight, but I did have some stuff lined up I wanted to discuss. So I will get started on a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Maybe when they start raiding my fridge.
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you hear me?
Hey, Yuri, how you doing?
Good, man. How's it going?
I think you're muted, Yuri.
I have to look.
I still think. Let me just play a video or something just to make sure it's not me.
It might be mine.
Yeah. Okay, Yuri. I think it. Oh man. I plugged the headphones in and didn't.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Hello? Oh man, Yuri. Man, I'm sorry, man. I plugged the headphones in. I didn't realize. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It might be mine.
Oh, that's your tank.
It's almost nighttime. I don't know if you can hear me, but
yeah, I can hear you. I hear you.
Okay. Okay, yeah. It's almost nighttime. The lights are kind of going down, and I just gave the fish some food. But I'm having a bit of an issue with my Coraline bleaching out, and I don't know if it's the lighting schedule or if it's a lack of calcium, but I don't think it's the lack of calcium. I think I might have hit the lights on at like 2 a.m. one time and kind of like I've heard that coralline can be very sensitive to light, so I might have bleached it. So it's not like dead, but I've noticed some spots.
All right, so let me back up a second and just ask you just a series of questions.
Yeah.
See if I can help as much as I can.
Yeah, no problem.
Did you change your light schedule recently?
I did. I bumped it up because I'm running the AI Prime, and like I was using like an acclimation mode for the longest time, but I noticed some of my zoanthids were like really stretching out. You know what I mean? They're really reaching for the light, especially on the outer edges because it's just one puck, right? So I figured let me bump up the light, but nothing directly underneath the light can't handle it because I do have some like SPS there and they seem to enjoy it. But I did bump up the light recently. I didn't think it would. I didn't bump up like like 20% or anything like that. It was like I did like 5% a week is what I was like recommended. So I did change to a I think it's called the BRS. Um, it's like a BRS like a lighting schedule, and it kind of like fluctuates up and down during the day to kind of give it breaks. But yeah, I think it might have been the lighting because all the other parameters are in check and things are going good. Things are growing, but I don't really care about the coral line as much. But I did notice that's the only thing.
So I heard you said everything is in check.
Yeah.
Parameters are in check. But the last time you tested, and when you did that test, what were the parameters?
For the last time I checked the parameters, I believe it was on Saturday, and I didn't check magnesium because I don't have a test kit for magnesium, but nitrates are about 5 to 10 ppm. Calcium was like around, I guess 14 like 50. Is that normal? 1450-ish?
Calcium, I
Is
think
that
that's
the
been an error. Calcium is usually anywhere from in I've only been keeping fish tanks for about 6 years, and in
yeah.
those 6 years, my range when I was a terrible reefer, it's between 370 and about, let's say, 600. So when you say 1400,
Oh no. Maybe I'm reading in a different like like what's it called like like parts per million or something different. If we're speaking about like in the three to I think it was in the 450, not the 1400. Sorry.
all
Yeah,
right,
I hardly really test my calcium because I do weekly water changes. So I figured that would be sufficient enough that like maintain my calcium level. The only thing that I really do check often is my alkalinity, and that is like around 7.58.
all right. It sounds, and if you're doing weekly water, you said you don't have a test kit for magnesium, which
Right.
I say get one to test. But from everything you've told me, if I had to make like a educated guess based on everything you told me, I would say it's just a change in light schedule. Because if you're doing weekly, what are you doing? Like about 10% weekly?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, about 10-15% weekly. Depends on how dirty it kind of gets.
If you're testing, if you're I would recommend getting a magnesium test kit to test magnesium periodically. But if you're doing weekly 10 to 15% water changes, the your tank looks good, by the way. So I'm gonna say
Thanks.
I wouldn't say if you are SPS. I see you have an SPS right at the top there, and if you had a big issue with your magnesium,
right,
SPS wouldn't be looking good. I think your SPS. I think your SPS would take a turn for the worse more so than your.
Right. Well, what had happened was in the beginning when I first set up this nano. This is kind of like in my like kind of like office area space because I do graphic design work, right? So it's kind of like nice to look at because I don't have a window here, nothing really to view. So when I first set it up, I actually bought like a pack from like a local reefer, you know what I mean? He posted it online, and mostly it was LPS corals, and then like he sprinkled in a few SPS, you know what I mean? So when I picked it up in the beginning and the tank was kind of like, you know, going through its new reefer stage, this guy doesn't know what he's doing kind of thing, like he's learning on the fly, I guess I had a Montipora cap, a green Confusa Montipora, and like maybe in like a month it browned out, you know what I mean? It looked really bad. But over the past 3-4 months, it's starting to green back up and the colors are really coming back in. So I feel like I've been keeping like my nitrates low, and you know, I feed the fish like kind of like sparingly, you know what I mean? And I cut down reeferids big time. I was dirtying up with reeferids.
I made that mistake too. It sounds to me like maybe a change in light schedule. I would say if your SPS and your other corals are looking fine, because it sounds like you know what they look like, even though you're new, you know what they look like when they browned out, and you know that they're coming back. So I would say give it another couple of weeks, but try to get a magnesium test kit, because from what you're telling me,
someone said check mag for sure.
Yeah, from what you're telling me, I mean, that's what I would throw at you and say test mag. But if you have an SPS and the SPS are looking fine, then I would just say maybe they're a little bit shocked by the light schedule, but try to get a test kit. But I say if it was me, I was in your position, I would, you know, look to get a mag test kit in the next couple of weeks. But it sounds like your other parameters. And the thing that is really giving me confidence is the fact that you say you do a weekly 10 to 15% water change.
Yeah, I kind of, and you know what, depending on how things are going, sometimes like I usually try to keep it to 7 to 8 days, but sometimes at the 5-day mark, I know like maybe like my girlfriend kind of like fed a bit more, you know, because I don't run a skimmer, and like, you know, it's a tiny tank. I don't feel like I need to. A lot of people, this is the Fluval 13.5, so like a lot of people like swear by the mini skimmer, but such a small tank, you know what I mean? I figured I can scrape and suck out a lot of like, you know, detritus and, you know, build up some things, you know, and I don't run no like what's it called, like this thing comes with like a stock, like, you know, sponge filter and things. I took that all out, try to run it kind of like clean in the little sump area. So yeah, so far so good. And I was actually recommended to this channel by Ash.
Ash?
Yeah, so he told me to come through and check out your channel. But when I did come and visit your channel, I noticed that I recognized your voice, and it was on, I think, no, was it on CJ's Aquarium? Probably. Yeah, I was on his. I was like, when I first started this tank up, I was on his live stream one time. I caught it, and you were on there too. But I don't think you saw my face and we spoke like for any length. So,
yeah. Are you in Toronto? Are you in that area?
Yeah, Toronto. Yeah.
I am going to take a trip up to my wife's uncle. I've been to Toronto. He used to live in Scarborough.
I actually live in Scarborough too.
You live in Scarborough?
I live in Scarborough, yeah.
Yeah. Man, I forgot. I'm drawing a blank here with the name where he lives. But I know when you take the bus at the train station, we take the last train station, the bus. The last stop on the bus, because that's the last stops when he makes
Kennedy?
Where?
Kennedy Station?
The last stop. That's when you take the bus, and the bus makes the last stop, and it's right across from where a big cargo train passes. That's why I know we're in Scarborough. He lives.
It's a bit further east from where I live, but yeah, it sounds familiar. Yeah. When are you planning on making a trip here? Like Toronto is pretty a big community here for reefing, I find.
The last couple of times I was there, I didn't do anything. I mean, I had fish tanks, but I didn't do much in terms of reefing. But I think her uncle now lives closer to the airport that's in the city, whichever airport it is. So we're a little bit more central now, so it should be fun.
Okay. Yeah, you know, there's lots of cool coral stores and like reef shops to check out. They're like sprinkled around the city. But before I got into the reefing, I didn't know how big like the I would say like the reefing community is here. It's pretty low key. Like I have lots of people that, you know, they want to come over to see my water plants, but like uh, it is a big community over here. Like there's a London Frag Fest going on this weekend. There's a big like Reef Expo coming up in August 11th to August 12th. I think that's gonna be the biggest one, a Reef Expo.
You know what? I saw. Oh, you know what? I don't know when my trip is gonna be, but I might try to. I might try to time it. I see Reef Expo. The last time I was there, I think I looked at what is it? Kijiji is like the big.
Yeah, Kijiji. Yeah, Kijiji.
And there were some good people were doing some good deals. But the thing is, man, you guys immigration? These guys are serious.
Yo, the border control thing, like I'm actually having like to renew my passports and things at the moment, and it's like such a runaround. It's such a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, where you come from? New York? Is it New York you're in?
New York. I'm originally Jamaican, but now I live in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, lots of people don't really like coming north of the border there because, you know, customs and it's a hassle. You know what I mean?
I love Canada. It's clean. The people are friendly. I always tell the story of when I was there. Because my company used to have a office in Bloor Street.
Oh, okay.
You know, whenever we come there, we always go to the Eaton Center. So
everyone goes there.
I think one of the transfers are at the Eaton Center. This subway turnstile was broken. So what they did is they just put a bag there for people to drop their tokens in, and everyone dropped their token in. Like no one was walking on the subway for free.
Yeah. You know, there's things in Toronto you see that happen, and you're just like just the little things you notice with how nice people are. Yeah, people are super nice.
Yeah, that was the one thing that stuck with me. That said, okay, people from Toronto are really nice. I think I've been there 3 times. 3 times. The last time I was there, rented bikes, rode around.
Oh yeah, they're all over the city now, and there's lots of new like things to check out within the city. Like I don't know when the last time you were here, but Ripley's Aquarium. It's a really cool exhibit to go check out here.
All right, I will. I think we're gonna. There's a good chance we're gonna be there this August, and I'm gonna shoot Ash a message. I'm gonna get Ash's contact info. And hopefully, you know, if I'm there, you guys can you know, send.
He apparently lives right by the airport, so he could pick you up.
See, yeah, man. We'll I'll be anxious to check it out. I'll be anxious.
Yeah. They got the London Frag Fest going on Saturday, but you know I gotta kind of celebrate Mother's Day that day, so I gotta put reefing aside.
Understood.
And it's a bit far too. London's, you know, maybe I'll say like maybe 150 kilometers, maybe like 90 miles away from here, give or take. So.
That's a far.
It's a bit far for a trip because like compared to like the U.S. and like Canada, like our cities are really located all along the border, right? So I mean, from town to town to town and cities, it's a bit farther of a drive. You know what I mean? And like it's very rural in between. There's not much development in between. You know what I mean? So, but Toronto is the hub. You know, it's very centralized, big, you know. Basically, it's New York North. You know what I mean? Like it's a big city.
I like it. Very diverse. I like it. I had family members that drive from New York to Toronto, and what they do is they just start in New York, go all the way across, like you're going to, let's say, Quebec, and then drive in Canada across to
around the lake. Basically, yeah.
But they tell me it's very rural. Once you cross the border up there, they say until you get to, you know, until
in between, I'll say Toronto and Quebec and Montreal, you're like 80% of the drive, you're looking at trees, man. It's, you know, me and my girlfriend and a couple of us were planning a trip to Banff National Park, but that's like a 40-hour drive type of thing, and it's not what I want to do on a vacation. You know what I mean? I'm an adventurer, but not like kill my, like, that's a drain. You know what I mean? Driving like 10 hours a day, it's, you know,
yeah, no.
you know, you're only seeing trees and some nice lakes.
All right, let me say hi, Yuri. Just give me a second. Let me say hi to a couple of people. Hey, Tim, came in and muted. DC Reefer. I see CJ. I see Exclusive. I see OG's Fish Room. I see Lisa. Anybody else want to jump in? I know Exclusive kind of dared me to show my tank, and I am going to show my tank a little bit. So I will. Yeah, once I'm chatting for a little bit, I will definitely see if I can. I turned the lights on, so we'll see. I'll show the tank. So I will. Wait. All right. Yeah, once I'm. You have to close YouTube.
Yeah. Mine's.
Hey, what's up, CJ?
Yo.
How you doing, man?
Let's see how long I can hang before little CJ comes ruins the fun. That man is the king. He's the king of killing streams.
Hey, I was watching your live stream, and I sort of heard the footsteps coming down the stairs. And you mentioned it.
Yeah, that man destroys it. I've been trying to show that thing. I know it's tech talk. I was trying to show that thing. If I can get a moment of peace to do it.
Hey, it's tech talk, but you know, go ahead. I saw your. Are you removing your sand, CJ?
I pulled out another 10. I pulled out another 10, 15 pounds worth. But I still feel like I got a ton left in there, man.
You know, I was considering doing it, not because I have high nutrients, but I think I've been mentioning that I am going to probably move soon. And to me, that just seems like if you're planning on breaking a tank down, I just see that as, if I'm just moving rock when I'm moving, I just see that as like you know, even if it's going to be a year from now, I just see if you're going to be breaking down rock and taking corals off and then setting it back up, I just see like a bare bottom tank as being something that's really easy to move.
Yep.
Sand.
I agree. You know what? I titled that almost bare bottom because I'm trying to get to the point to where it's damn near that amount of sand in here. But I don't know if I can go bare bottom. I'll tell you what, I will feel way better about going bare bottom now than I would have started the tank bare bottom because I got enough corals in here to where I can still feel like it's not completely boring. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's enough fish and coral in here to where I can do it, but I have way too many wrasses that need sand to do that. I got like 6 different wrasses that bury themselves.
So you know what made me feel a little bit better about bare bottom or barely sand is I saw a guy the other day. Wish I got a chance to film his tank, but he runs bare bottom. But what he did is he has sections in the back of the tank that he keeps very, very deep. You know?
Yep.
He uses like little rock scapes to keep that section deep. And
like little lagoons for sand or something.
Yes, sir. And what happens is, I think even one instance he had wrasses that were fighting over space, so he put a Tupperware, you know, hidden in the back.
Yeah.
Eventually, another wrasse found it. So he said eventually all the wrasses found, like, you know, their own like little areas in the back sand. So they found the sand. So that made me feel a little bit better about.
That's a good idea, actually, because I can have a nice tray of sand in the back behind that whole scape you would never see. You know, a nice little 8 by 10 inch, like little tray, a shallow one, like 2 inches deep.
So like wrasse condominiums.
Yeah, man. put a little sign up on it.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
That is an idea, but you know what the problem is? If I went bare bottom, then the whole plan of like being done with coral would go out of the window. Because then I would have to cover the entire bottom of the tank with coral to be happy.
When I had when I had that Aquascape CJ that you said you liked that I broke down with the big rocks, what prompted that was I had this really aggressive form of encrusting Monty that grew very fast and just covered everything. I kind of wish I had kept a piece of that because if you put that on the sand bed, within like 8 months to a year, you can have the entire. If you put that on a rock on like a beer bottom, within a year you can have a fully encrusted bottom with like like Monty covering it. That's something I would probably do.
CJ, why do you want to go bare bottom?
No, I don't want to go bare bottom. I just wanted to reduce the amount of sand in here just for maintenance and detritus purposes, man. But if I did go bare bottom, I would also add more power heads too around the bottom of the tank to get that flow around the bottom. So yeah, so like I said, bare bottom would just cause me to spend more money and get more equipment and more corals. But it would look dope though.
Yeah,
Monty and chalices all over the bottom. That would be pretty dope. And then GSP in the middle somewhere, like between the islands. GSP on the bottom there, some chalices here, some Monty's over there.
So if you go bare bottom and you do the power heads, it's to push the detritus and stuff into the.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have nothing stopping me then. If I don't got to worry about blowing sand, shoot.
Yeah,
man, my fish will be pinned to the glass.
When you're removing the sand, like, are you taking out like portions at a time, and how much? Like, how often?
I took out about 20 pounds about 5 months ago.
Okay.
I took out about 10 to 15 pounds a day, and depending on how many other deep pockets of sand I find as I stir up my sand bed, periodically throughout the week, I may take out more. But
okay,
I want to be able, if I just barely dropped my scraper into the sand, I want it to hit glass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like you want a thin, like a sheet, maybe.
Thin, man.
Yeah, I did the same thing too. Like I started out with like, I guess too much sand for me, and then like it was like my flow was really like disrupting the sand. So like I start taking out like, every time I do a water change, I would take out like, like a cup of sand basically, every time.
Yep.
To where I like it, because now the power heads don't really like affect it. Because I kind of went with like a thinner grain, but I mean, so far so good.
Yep, that's the idea, not to disturb your surface area biological balance.
I try to keep it
too much.
Like I noticed like I took out some rock before, and this is when I first started the tank up, and then like I noticed like I guess you would say like the nutrient export was like a bit shooken up from like taking out the rock work, but it's since like bounced back. I guess the biological filtration kind of beefed up itself over time.
Is there a sump on that tank, Yuri?
Pardon me?
Is there a sump on the tank, or is just the back chamber?
No, it's like a back chamber. Like it's not really a sump. It's just like it's like an acrylic piece of thing just blocking out like, the heater, and, if you put some filter floss back there, I don't really count it as a sump. It's not all in one tank, but, even the water still gets, they like put in a hole in the middle, and it's like really recommended to like kind of like block that off. But, yeah, it's just to like hide things, I've been meaning to like look around for a tank to upgrade to. I'm thinking for myself, I want to go up to maybe like a 60-gallon, but I don't know. The sizing is gonna be like tricky because I don't really like cube tanks. I like the more like peninsula style and kind of like shallower tanks. I know Innovative Marine has that 50-gallon. Ash has that tank. I really like that tank.
There's another guy who's in the chat, DC Reefer. They have the tanks called Lagoon, and they're called Lagoon tanks. And I think he has a few. He's in the chat, DC Reefer. So I think on his channel he has a few video updates of him creating like Lagoon tanks, similar to what Ash has. So yeah, you can check him out.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, you said this is an innovative marine, right?
No, this one's a Fluval 13.5.
Okay. I think I ran a Fluval 14. But what I like with the Fluval or even the innovative marine tanks are you can with those back chambers, you can buy like baskets. My son has a 14-gallon Nuvo. It's the circle acrylic one.
Yeah, I know that one.
And basically, there's a company here in the U.S. called Intank, and
Yeah, they make the baskets, right?
love it.
Yeah.
I bought some lights, clipped it on the back, and my
Yeah.
Refugium. I have to empty it like every 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. I see. Did you get that magnetic light?
I have one of the magnetic light, had one, but there's a guy here called Dave's Nano Tanks that built me a light that works really well. Yeah,
Nice.
but so what you can do is you can get some really powerful LEDs if you're handy and build yourself some lights. But I think he took some lights that they use those low white lights that you kind of see that are behind like neon lights, neon signs, and he two of them together, and that's what I'm using on mine.
Well, I've been thinking of running like a reactor on here and like building like I know Ash runs it on his tank, which is like what is it called? It's like a Chaeto reactor.
Yep.
And he runs it like reverse schedule, I guess, to like keep the pH up. Because one thing about a small tank like this, you run into, it's like, there isn't like a sump space to really run like a kind of like sizable refugium to do like a fairly good job. But I think that reactor, because of like the size of it and like running it in the nights, I think it would be a good option to go with. But I don't have like much of an algae issue, and I guess that's really because of the water changes.
So not to be overly self-promotional, but I think if you go back like 1 year ago, I have a video called Macro Algae Reactor. So I have been running or building like what they call them macro algae reactors now for about a year and a half, and they absolutely do work. I think it got to the point where I didn't. So I'm looking at your tank now. So you have a clam. Is that no? You don't.
No, there's no clam. No.
Okay, but you have what? How many fish do you have? 2?
There's only 2. There's just a pair of clownfish at the moment.
See, it got to the point where I was doing water changes like once every 5 or 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, because there were no nutrients. I still think if you're going to be doing that, then you'll have to maybe dose something.
Dose, you would to keep like traces up, right?
Yeah, but I have a video called but if you search YouTube, I have a few of them. One 7 months ago, but I had the Innovative Marine 14-gallon Peninsula tank, and I had a Chaeto reactor hanging on the back. I took a 2 little fishies reactor, wrapped some lights around it. In fact, when I had the Fluval pump, I kept the pump, and I used the same little Fluval pump and ran water through it, and it absolutely worked. Like every about a month and a half, it would be packed, and I would need to.
Yeah, I'm looking into doing that because I know Ash has like one of those reactors. So he said he was gonna hold it for me because he was gonna like he has a different one that he likes that he's running on his tank, and he said he was gonna like he's gonna let me have it and he's gonna like sell it to me. So I'm actually thinking of picking it up maybe this weekend and like doing that little DIY project and tucking it in the back corner there. Because it does have a compartment for like 2 pumps. I upgraded the return pump because the original Fluval pump kind of stopped working on me a bit. It pushes out some flow. It's just not enough. But I could use it to run that reactor. So cut down the water change is a good idea.
It's like a little 1-inch by 1-inch pump, right?
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, that's what I was using to run that reactor. It was perfect for the flow through the Chaeto reactor, but
not too fast, slow enough to pump the water through.
I have a question in the chat from Aussie Dan. I'm setting up a Zoa-only frag tank. I have 4 bags of cycled media from my mate tank. Do I need to cycle the frag tank? I think As long as you're not overstocking it with fish, Aussie, I think you're fine to use the cycled media. I think that's fine. If you're adding a few fish, then I would add one fish at a time. But if you're not adding any fish and it's a Zoa only frag tank, then that cycled media should be more than enough. Hey, OG, you're being quiet, Mike. How are you?
Good. I just took a phone call. How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Good. Yo, I actually have to head out now. Also, it was good chatting with you. Maybe I'll catch you again on the live. You know what I mean? But I'll definitely look for the video and I'll check it out and I'll build that reactor and I'll give you an update on that. You know what I mean? So.
All right. So every Thursday at this time we'll be here. So always.
Okay, then I know. Then I'll catch you again for sure.
All right.
All right. Oh, take care. All right. Take care, fellas.
All right.
All right, Yuri. Take care. Nice to meet you.
Have a good one. Yeah. Take care, guys.
Hey, I got a question for CJ. CJ still there?
Yeah, CJ messing around. Yeah, his hands are wet.
Okay.
But you can ask.
Yeah, I'm here. I just got finished adding some carbon for the first time in like 6 months.
Wow.
Okay. So CJ, I want to ask you, where are you at with the vacuuming of the sand? I remember when I first saw you used to vacuum the sand like you was cleaning your living room. And then you went to, no, I'm going to leave the sand. Where are you at these days with that?
I'm back vacuuming.
Okay.
I'm back vacuuming and I'm back doing a maintenance water change just so I can vacuum and export. I figured the thought for not vacuuming was to leave, some nutrients in the tank and the sand, but I also thought I got a sump. So if I vacuum the sand and just never vacuum my sump, still accomplishing the same thing. So I figure if I am going to have a build up, I'll rather it be down below where it's easier to manage and just keep my sand pretty clean because the sand's going to collect the majority of that poop and stuff anyway. So,
all right. So I think the philosophy was don't vacuum anything, stir it up, let the stuff collect into the water column and eventually go into your filter, into your.
Yeah.
So what went wrong with that theory?
I think when I had that nutrient issue from that algae scrubber dying, it kind of maybe had to reevaluate everything because at that point I wasn't needing the additional stuff in my sand bed. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I went from struggling to get nutrients to having 80 nitrates, so that completely flip-flopped everything on top of what I was trying to do. And when you also compare that with the amount of corals I have and the size of the corals, I didn't feel like I needed to do any I didn't feel like I had to go that route. I don't think these corals are big enough or growing fast enough yet to justify not cleaning it. So eventually I may get to that point, but right now I'm just trying to manage everything.
Where are your nitrites at now?
No idea. I
CJ.
haven't checked them in like 2 or 3 weeks. I guarantee they're probably still about 80. Even after the water changes. I can check them, but you know what?
Time to check them now?
Yeah, let's check them out.
What is this, water testing Thursday?
Oh.
Nah, this is just spur of the moment.
Yeah, go for it. So, like you guys know, I don't have a saltwater tank yet, and I used to vacuum my sand, the whole entire tank when I would do a water change. But then I've been speaking to LFSs, and they say to me, just vacuum half the gravel because you want some of that detritus and build up in there, I guess, to keep the bacteria level maintained.
I think hang on a second. I was trying to join a second so I can I think in a freshwater tank, I think you're talking about in a freshwater tank, right, OG?
Yeah, they told me to stop vacuuming the whole bed.
I think in a freshwater tank, I mean, you would know more about freshwater biological filtration than I would, but I think in a saltwater tank, the thing is that when the fish poop and a lot of it goes into the sand bed, and if you don't clean it, if you don't have enough flow or there's pockets of areas where there's low flow, the stuff can collect there and over time just become, like I hate using these terms, but it can become a nutrient bomb if over the course of a long period of time, like it just keeps falling and it's not going anywhere. The cleanup crew is not cleaning up enough. Eventually, that stuff is gonna escape back into your water column. So that's why we periodically clean it. Like my plan is to. I've tried some really deep sand beds, OG, that were supposed to like help me process nutrients, and those failed miserably. Failed me miserably.
How deep?
Like I was doing 6 inches one time.
6. Ooh wee.
Yeah, I was trying what's called a deep sand bed. Didn't work.
That's dangerous because that can create those pockets of
hydrogen sulfide or something.
Yeah.
Listen, there's a reason where when I was taking that sand bed apart, when I was taking that tank apart, it looked ugly. It wasn't pretty at all.
I could imagine the gunk that was down there, boy.
Yeah. So this one is like a really light sand, but I think some places in the front are like 2 inches. And what I try to do is every couple months, just go in there with your hand and just, run your hand over little portions at a time. But it seems to me that it gets forgotten sometimes because there's always something there. Like right now, I got a bunch of frags in the sand bed or something, it seems to be always something that comes up where I don't do it. So,
right.
But I do like the look of sand, though. I do absolutely love. To me, when you come from the Caribbean and you're used to seeing sand, to me it just looks a little bit unnatural. I understand why people do bare bottom, makes it easier for maintenance. But for me, used to going in the beach in the Caribbean, like it's just unnatural to me to have a reef tank without sand.
Right. You want to create the whole ocean beachfront.
Yep. Yeah.
I think if you're gonna go bare bottom, and I think those minimalistic scapes look terrible bare bottom. I think if you go bare bottom, you can really take advantage of it being bare bottom and really add more rock.
Yeah, I think
in an artistic way.
I think I saw that somewhere the other day. Was it Jake Adams had the guys from Worldwide Corals speaking at Reef Stock, and I watched that presentation the other day where the guy says, yes, like one of the reasons, when you have actually, I think he said the opposite. He says you need.
Hey, quick question. I don't want to interrupt you. I want you to keep going, but do you remember how many drops of this NO3 1 it was
for nitrate?
Yeah.
Let me go check. I have it, so let me go check quickly for you.
Oh yeah.
I think it's 4. 4.
You ain't gotta get up, man. I think it's 4. You ain't gotta get up. Oh.
Yeah, it's 4.
It's 4. Okay, that's what I was. All right. I don't ruin the story. I thought he knew offhand. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's gonna come back and be like, it's 8.
It's important enough where we can't have any false readings. It's 4. Like Sprucin was right.
All right.
We can't afford any false readings.
Because I do it every day.
Trust me, this is gonna
every day.
This is gonna be high. It's already changing color just from putting it in there. I know it's gonna be high. All right, go ahead.
I was saying, hey Alex, I was saying, the guy saying, oh, you can run crazy flow when you don't have sand because you don't have to worry about it blowing around. And in fact, I think the guys say you actually could use less power heads because you can crank it up. You know what? I don't remember. I don't remember what the guy. I don't remember if you can use more or less. I don't.
But it makes sense what you just said. You can use less power heads because you can crank it up high, and the sand won't be there to blow around.
Yep. If I run my gyres at 100, if I run my gyres, if I clean, the thing about the gyres is when you don't clean them, the performance drops down. So if you put a brand new, freshly cleaned gyre into my tank and you turn it up 100%, it's not going to be pretty, OG. Not going to be pretty at all.
Or your coral will be bald.
The coral will be bald. The sand, it's going to cause a sandstorm. It's going to look, I know it looks like CJ's bubbling now, but instead of looking like it's bubbling, it's going to be a sandstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Wells says he's in the 4 sand brigade. I like sand. I like the aesthetics.
I tell you what, man. Everyone who has sand in their tank, I can bet 100%. No matter how much sand you have, if you went in and removed 15 pounds of it or so, you would be happy with the result of it. You would feel like you changed your tank significant enough to where it was new again. Not new again, but interesting to look at again.
I already see, like I only have an inch of sand, CJ, but I can already see like cyano and some stuff in it. And I was just thinking, geez, I might not be able to go much lower. Maybe I can go to a half an inch because guess what? I put egg crate on the bottom.
Did you? Ah, man.
I did the same thing.
Yeah. Why people do that? Man, somebody started doing that years ago, man. You don't got to do that. These tanks, these bottoms of these tanks, man, they can hold. They can
No, but
crazy.
I just did it underneath my corals. I mean, my rock, just to take that pressure off the glass, like those sharp points. That's all. But it's only literally like underneath the rocks, like 2 or 3 pieces.
CJ, I didn't know any better, man.
Well, I mean, I just thought about it because I mean, back in the cichlid days, people used to do that all the time, but it's like it gets exposed. But these glass, especially with the size tanks we got, man, the bottom glass is like what, half an inch, 3/4 of an inch thick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really thick, man. Like,
it's amazing. I see like some of these gigantic tanks, 500 or 1,000, when they're putting them up on these YouTube videos, the guy's standing inside of the tank.
Yeah.
It's amazing that it could support that weight plus all the rocks and everything.
So the question is, would you guys do it again? I mean, I know there's a purpose behind you doing it. I mean, it was important enough to do it the first time. Would you do it again?
Sand?
No.
Egg crate.
No. Nope. Wouldn't do it again.
Because it was a waste or it was a bad thing?
Because now I lost the flexibility of doing something. Let's say I have a nutrient bomb right now. I just lose the flexibility of being able to go, sand less for a little bit. Plus, like CJ said, after I did it and it was in there, I realized that it's not needed. And also, there's been times where I needed to move my scape. And I'm there digging, man. And me and my wife are moving. And I'm like, why the hell isn't this thing moving? You realize it's sitting on egg crate. So you got to take up the rock scape and literally reposition it because you can't slide or move. Sometimes you want to get like a fish died and you want to get him out. You can't just move the rock because it doesn't move because it's sitting on egg crate. So I wouldn't do it again. I think if I felt uncomfortable, I would do like starboard. But I think in this day and age, like CJ said, it's not needed. This is a half-inch tank glass that's, it's not needed. Plus, I think what I've learned is I think the highest you would think, because it's a glass box, you would think the highest pressure is not on the bottom. It's actually on the sides. So it's not needed. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it again.
You think there's more pressure on the side glass than the bottom glass?
Yes, I think that's what I've heard, that there's more pressure on the sides than the bottom.
CJ, what do you think about that?
I don't know. I guess I could believe it. I just think back to that old school video I seen on YouTube. How much can the bottom glass of a 10-gallon tank hold? Yeah, that video was so old. It had like 1 million views on it or whatever. And the guy just kept stacking cinder blocks on it, right? Setting on the glass of a 10-gallon tank. And that glass is what? Half a quarter inch thick or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And he had it stacked up, man. I don't even know, probably 10 cinder blocks on it before it broke.
Because of all that weight distribution.
Whatever it is, it just shows these glass can hold a lot. Of course, the only thing you don't want is a sharp point falling and hitting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, we've been doing it long enough to where we know how to avoid that happening. So if you're avoiding that happening, what's the other risk involved?
That's what I was thinking with the egg crate, to be able to distribute the weight. But then when I thought about it, you put the rock on a little bit of sand. It's not needed. I wouldn't do it again. If I had to do it again right now, today, I would not put the egg crate in. Mm-hmm. I think I'd rather cut the bottom of the scape, the rock, so it's a little bit flat, or cut the sharp edges off, which I didn't have any sharp edges anyway. But I'd rather put a little bit of effort into cutting that versus putting egg crate down.
I'll tell you, I would do like Aquarius did in his videos. I don't know if he ain't been on YouTube in a while, man, but he was one of the first ones I actually looked up to and learned a lot from on the saltwater side. Cyber Aquarius. If anyone doesn't know, go check his channel out. His videos are still relevant and informational today. But he elevated his entire scape in his reef tank using acrylic rods. He elevated them, 4, 5, 6 different feet or whatever to spread the load. And the goal was to have it elevated just high enough to where it was right above the sand, to where you would have zero detritus buildup underneath your scape, even with the sand bed. And it was a genius idea. And I've been thinking about it, and I'm thinking, dang on it, I probably should have did that too. Just hovering, just floating your entire scape, a 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch or whatever depth your sandbed's going to be at that level, to where the flow gets underneath your entire scape, regardless of sand or not.
Oh man, see that self-cleaning sand, CJ.
Hey, it's coming next, Tank. It's coming next. Tank.
CJ, listen, I was just looking up because I'm just thinking about it. That is so brilliant. And then if you're good enough and you know how to hide it enough, like if you think of a scape and you put 3 acrylic rods, one at the front, you basically can glue some rock to it and hide it so it does,
Yep.
Oh,
how you spell his name?
Cyber, Cyber Aquarius.
Oh, Cyber. I thought you said Sab.
No, Cyber Aquarius. Check him out, man, because he made some of the first videos I discovered that explain water chemistry and alkalinity and calcium, magnesium, how they related to each other. It seems, rudimentary talking about it now because we know it, right? But when you first started, man, that was like, what? Like, golly, this is like mad scientist stuff. Like, what are they talking about? But
he hasn't made a video in a year.
He hasn't made a video in a long time, man, and he's had multiple reef tanks. He's had big systems. His last system that he documented was that smaller, the Innovative Marine tank or whatever. But it's good stuff, man. From what I understand, outside chats and stuff, he works in the water management plan and stuff, so he's really familiar with water chemistry, and that translated directly over to the saltwater. So good stuff, though. Plug him out there. Maybe he'll come back.
On a slightly different topic, it's interesting how you have a lot of YouTubers. They go hard every day, once a week. They're everywhere, and then boom, they just disappear.
Yep.
Yeah, New York Stilo was one I liked too, and I think what happened is I know his mother died, and then for whatever reason, man, he just didn't come back to YouTube. But I used to watch that guy's videos. Yeah, I used to watch that guy's videos all the time. I think he's still on Facebook. But I messaged him and he answered my messages. Really nice guy from the Bronx, but New York Stilo. His stuff is still relevant. I got something interesting happened the other day. So that what is it called? The Carib Sea Life Rock.
Mm-hmm.
I re-aquascaped half my tank with the Carib Sea Life Rock. Took Pocani out. So after I aquascaped it, I didn't like part of the scape. So I tried to take that bad boy out and try to saw pieces off. CJ, this rock is not porous at all.
No.
CJ,
hell no.
CJ, I'm a big dude.
Let's see it, man.
I'm a big dude, but after sawing for like 15 minutes, I barely made a dent, bro. It broke my drill bit when I was trying to drill holes in it. Granted, it's not like a steel, it's not an expensive drill bit. The fact that I couldn't drill in it with a drill bit showed that thing is like basically reinforced concrete.
Wow.
Yeah. See, that's why. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't fool with those, man.
I already did for now, and I'm glad I always have like Marine Pure backup. But I was thinking, my next tank, I would go like the full tank full of this. That's out the window now.
I just wanted to show you that, man. That's a new piece I slid in.
Come on, man. Don't do this to me, bro.
That's the gold?
Gold hammer, man. I've never seen one like this in my life.
I got that.
Hey.
I bought it with 2 heads. I already got 4.
Yes. But this style, I've seen the kind of hammers that have that kind of hammer on it, but I've never seen the kind of hammers. What's the difference? Is one like a string?
I got it like that, too.
Or what makes a hammer looks like this compared to that? I've never seen that color hammer.
Hey, CJ, you gonna cost me money, man. Cause my wife got like a love affair with Euthelia, man.
Man, listen, I paid way more than I ever wanted to pay for that too, man. But you know what? I'll never see it again. So I just had to chuck it up, man. $75, man. That's the most I pay for a coral that size.
Wow.
That's nice.
It's four. It's splitting too, so it'll probably split. So gold hammer, gold torch.
Hey CJ, let's see that gold torch again. One more time.
Yeah.
All right, now
I think the gold hammer is even more gold than this torch.
Yeah, let me see the gold hammer.
You should lock it on him for a minute.
He's not gonna give us it, man. Listen, the thing is like $100 a head.
So what?
Oh, so what? Listen, if I say I'm a
this coral, how much is this coral? Is it that expensive?
No, I told her $100 a head, and she said, "So what?" But if
what?
Did I get a good deal on this or not? Maybe I did.
Listen, man, if I said I was gonna spend $100 on a piece of light, I'll get like the look, the look. And
it's a euphilia for her side though, so and the cost don't matter then.
Listen,
good.
How many heads you bought it with?
It looks like 3, but I could swear the 2 big heads are splitting. So I think 3 is going to turn to 7 here pretty soon, really soon.
2 costs about 45.
So the price was about right there.
Yeah, I could see where they're splitting.
Yeah, they're starting to split. They're starting to split. So hopefully that thing is huge, man. It's a great contrast. I was looking for something like that for the Euphilia garden. It's good contrast. But
that looks nice. I like that. I really do like that. That looks good. Is that a
filter on, CJ?
Is that a Turbinara?
No, it's the Pectinia.
Is that the gel filter you got on?
Yep.
Because without that, what would it look like?
Oh, it's all blue without it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't see without it.
Oh man.
Hey, CJ.
I didn't show you the A cans underneath the gel filter. Look at the A cans, man. I don't know what kind they are, but these suckers. Look at that one.
Yo, man, CJ, you got all that rock that needs some coral on it. What's going on?
Man, listen, man. I'm about to put like 10 to 15 more A cans, man. That one got killed. I'm pissed. That one up there, he got killed by the torch coral overnight. I missed it. I couldn't save him. Maybe there's one head I can save, but that guy's gorgeous too.
He was just telling DC, yo, I'm done.
Listen,
well,
man. Listen.
No, I got a few more corals to get, then I'm done. This A-can garden, I'm being very specific with what I put.
Don't
like that right there, I don't even know what that is.
Don't listen
that,
don't listen.
That right there.
That's hot.
That's an A-can?
DJ's
yeah, man. I don't even know what that is, man.
He's just been saying he's done for months now. I remember when he went to Rico, he said, I'm done. So it's like an inside joke. And whenever you say you're done, we just laugh and keep it moving.
But I am. I'm almost done. Almost done.
Yo,
CJ, you coming to New York?
No, I won't be up there.
Oh, was you on the stream where CJ walked into the store? He had previously bought fish that contaminated his tank. He said, I'm never buying another fish from here. And he said, oh, shit, look at those.
Yep.
Yeah. It was these guys. But I have been looking for them for like 4 months. For the Army Whites.
Yeah, listen. At least he's consistent. You know, when he said he's done.
It means the opposite.
Yeah.
That's your Lobo, right?
This is the Globo.
Yeah.
How's your SPS doing?
You said you're getting bored?
They're doing okay.
That's nice, man.
They got some that's encrusting. See that guy? He's completely encrusting. I got a bunch of encrusting happening, man. But I also had some that died. I lost my. I'm losing one. I'm losing my prize yellow. I forgot what the kind of SPS that one is, man. But it could have turned into a home wrecker or something. I'm losing it. But a lot of them are encrusting. Like, look at that guy. You see the amount of encrusting they have on the rock? Like that one. Like he's encrusting. That guy's completely encrusted. So some doing better than others, man.
But I got yeah. Oh gee. I know a few weeks ago we were talking about the UV sterilizer. I turned off my UV sterilizer a few days ago, and the glass, like overnight, you could see the glass start getting dirty again.
Wow.
That makes a big difference with how long you have to keep your glass.
So I need to hook mine up.
I've
been needing to hook mine up for months.
Oh, did you run that 24 hours or just half the day or what?
I did. So you know, West Coast, I got the UV sterilizer because I had dinoflagellates. So my thought process was try to get the UV to help kill it, but it turns out Fritz bacteria, and I'm not sure which used it, but between pouring like a quarter of the bottle of Fritz 460 and then turning on bubbling for like 2 hours a night, that killed about 95% of the dinoflagellates. And then when I put the UV on, over the course of the next couple of days, that like polished the rest of it off. So I'm not sure which of the combination of the three that, you know, killed the dinos, but it did. And I just kept it on for, you know, next month. But I did notice that I had to clean my glass a lot less when I left it running. So I just left it running 24/7. But now with summer coming and I have to use a chiller, I'm just more concerned about my energy use. So that's why you know, turn it off. But like I said, my glass, I just noticed like I have a good dust. I could, with the UV running 24 hours a day, I can go maybe a week to 10 days between cleaning the glass. It's been about 4 days, and I already have a good enough dusting where it probably needs a cleaning.
Okay. So they work pretty good then.
Yeah. Ozone does this. Ozone does the same thing with cleaning the glass, but you know, Ozone's a different beast. I am not running Ozone anymore.
So have you seen a depletion in your pods or anything like that?
I have not. You know what? Let me go over to the tank and see if I could give you guys a tour. I don't have any nice SPS colonies because a few months ago, or about 6 months ago, I totally killed everything. So let me I'm gonna mute this. So give me a second. All right, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So since we were talking about the Refugium, let's start with the Refugium. Probably should have presented myself, but yeah, that's my Refugium. It's about a 10-gallon Refugium. It's lit by a Kessel H380, and yeah, this thing is full of pods. You probably won't be able to see like any pods, kind of, but yeah. This is a 75-gallon tank, and I have a Mandarin here that doesn't eat frozen, and I've had the Mandarin for about a year, and you know, like he basically feeds off of this Refugium here. So I mean, there's a good population of pods being produced here. No filter socks. It just drains straight into the Refugium with the Chaeto, goes to the skimmer section, and to the return pump.
So no filter stocks no more, huh?
No filter stocks, no. And what I do is this here, you know, gets really dirty. So you can see that I put this sump on in December, and I've vacuumed the bottom of it once since then. But I think every couple of months you get about a 1/4 inch of fine detritus at the bottom. You can see it there. So then, even though I'm doing Triton and I technically have low enough nutrients where I don't have to do maintenance water changes, I would say I do like a full system refresh like once every 3 months. So while I'm doing that, I usually vacuum the sump.
Gotcha.
But right now my phosphates are kind of high. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I'm trying to figure it out. But my nitrates are 5. I'm using like a Tunzi 9410 DC skimmer. I think it's working fine. I do like it. It pulls a lot less air than my Vertex, so that's the only drawback with this. But in terms of skimming, it works absolutely fine. That's the UV. I don't remember the model, but I know it's the smallest one that BRS sells.
Oh.
And you said you turned it off because
Well, yeah, because my tank right now, my tank is 78.5 degrees. So you can imagine during the day or during those warm days. Um, Last week, my tank got up to 85 degrees on that warm day, and I had a bunch of SPS frags just bleach. I think it was
You got
because
to
of the
what?
temperature
How
spike.
high?
Yeah, my tank got to 85, 86.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I had a couple SPS frags that really struggled from that nutrient spiking. Some of them didn't blink at all, but some of them really struggled. So I didn't hook my chiller up yet.
What does that mean in relation to the UV?
So what happens is I just wanted to turn off as many devices as possible to keep the heat down.
Okay.
So what happened is what I probably should have done, OG, I probably should have reduced every day, just reduce it by a few hours per day until I found that right balance. But I shut it off, and I probably shouldn't have done that.
Right. I got mine on a timer. Every day it comes on for 4 hours.
That's what I probably should have done, and I didn't do it. That's probably what I should have done. But hindsight is 2020, and you live and you learn. Yeah, and there's nothing too fancy else. So nothing else too fancy going on in the sump. Just I'm using the Neptune Core return pump, carbon in a bag, skimmer, and I think I got just a pump in the back there that runs the UV sterilizer. But everything else is just the cords from all the equipment. Nothing fancy.
Looks good, man.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, keep it simple.
That's
Yeah. So it seems like he's happy. He seems like he's happy with that sump change.
Yeah, I am. Definitely. Over here it's kind of messy. This is the Apex. This is 2 EV8s. This is my dosing containers, my Triton dosing containers. There's like a snake or whatever you want to call it. There's a cord octopus back there that I don't even want to tackle because I'm just scared. I don't know where anything is. So that's just gonna stay there for me. That's my GHL doser. All right, give me a sec. The lights went blue. Let me turn them back to white, and I'll see what's going on with the display. How's EcoSmart working out for you, CJ?
What's that?
How's the WXM working out for you?
Oh, it's flawless. It's flawless, man. I don't got one complaint. And the thing is, I don't touch my lights as much anymore. Just like you said, it was going to happen. That's pretty much what's happened. At first, I played with it. Now that I got an idea where I want, and I got my filming profile set, I don't really have to mess with it, man. So,
Set and forget it, huh?
Yeah, I'll be right back real quick. I got to go change a diaper.
Yeah, this is my wife's side of the tank. As you can see, she's a Euphilia lover. I think she has 1, 2, 3. I think she has like 9 or 10 different types of Euphilia. So I just leave this alone. I just let her do whatever she wants to do. I don't know when it transitioned from being my tank to our tank, but I'll just
when you bought it.
I'll just let that one be. These 2 pieces of rock, I'm trying to give it away to someone.
Hey,
Yo.
Hey, this is Tim.
Hey,
Tim.
Tim.
I was listening earlier. How's everybody doing? I was listening earlier about the conversation about the sand versus the bare bottom, and I'm in kind of in your camp. I like the aesthetics first of all of the sand, and I remember the first reef tank I saw had sand, so maybe that had something to do with it. But it's just I like that. The other thing is, like CJ, you were talking about the wrasses, and I have 2 wrasses, and I like them. And they need a sand to sleep in. I know you can do some things, but, like you were talking about the guy who has some containers at the back where the wrasses can sleep. But
looks like it went down. We got 25.
Then the other thing is, like I got a diamond goby. Now you got to put up with his antics sometimes, but he does a really good job of circulating the sand and keeping the sand bed clean. And If it gets out of hand for him, I'll just add another one. But you know, I mean, he's always in there, always around. He's a pretty good size one. He pretty well takes care of the sand bed for me. So I run about an inch, maybe 3/4 or an inch in the front, and then in the back, which is where the rashes would be at line. It's about 2 inches back there. So, but I'm in the, you know, the bare bottom. I understand why people that might be interesting, and some people might like that, but. You know, if you got bare bottom, I don't have any practical experience in that because I never had a bare bottom. But it seemed like you're going to be, you know, always after that detritus and stuff that's on the bottom, trying to get that out because it's going to show up.
About to get the
bad
lid on the back, man. I'll be back, guys.
All right, CJ.
So that's just my thoughts on sand and bare bottoms, and
it is a personal choice.
Yeah, it is.
When I was hooking up the nano tanks, I was gonna go bare bottom, but it's kind of my wife convinced me to put sand. But I think both my tanks now, I am putting them in. I'm thinking of them as temporary setups. Not like I'm gonna get rid of them soon, but I am gonna move soon. So you know, you gotta move, and I just think moving when you don't have sand is just an easier process.
Yeah. I can see that.
I'm gonna like both of them though. Sand or no sand, it depends how you do it, I guess.
Yeah.
And for those of you, hey Billy, I did not kill that ACAN. That ACAN is still alive and kicking, Billy. Don't try to set Billy pipes on me, man.
West Coast tank is looking nice.
Thanks, man.
I wasn't presenting my screen to YouTube. Oh, shucks. Oh, man.
Hey, West Coast, what size is your tank?
That's the Reefer 525. I believe the display is a 110.
It looks real big.
Yeah, it's about what 60, 59 long or 60 long, whatever. I think the width is about 23, and the height is about 23.
About 5 feet long.
Yeah.
2 feet. Yeah.
Well, I like it.
That's a good size for a tank. That's a good size.
Hey, West Coast, you're running the Aquatic Life fixture, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't go whole on mine, dude. You see my my radions? Bring it up a little bit.
Yeah, I see them.
I mean, I'm overkill, but you know, I like it. So
got that?
That's a 3 XR30s.
3 XR30s.
It's way too much, but I got total coverage. I'm no complaining nowhere. I mean, anywhere in the tank I can put anything.
Yeah. Well, if you're running 65 feet, I'm running a 4 foot, 48 inches. I got two Radion XR30s. So you would, to cover it right, you would need 3. Yeah, sure, that's right.
You don't have to go. I mean, I could have actually went 2, and it depends on with these Aquatic Life fixtures, you can adjust them.
Yeah.
How you want it. So I mean, but it depends on your aquascape and everything else. The way my aquascape is, I wanted like coverage on the sides too.
Yeah.
And with just 2 of them, sometimes I was getting some low power levels. So with 3, I got like total coverage anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think it depends on the aquascape.
Yeah.
To the Interzoo, which is going on in, I think, Germany right now, Giesmann has released, like, I guess, the competitor to the Aquatic Life. It's called the Giesmann Stellar, and it's basically a bring your own LED. It's a bring your own LED T5 fixture. I mean, it's a Giesmann, so of course it looks nicer than, the Aquatic Life. They haven't given any price yet, but it looks.
Yeah, it's going to be more than what Aquatic Life is. So
it's going to be pricey.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Aquatic Life. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I love it.
Me too. No regrets.
I love it. Hey, has anyone been keeping up with or looking at like some of the new products that have been, announced at the show there in Germany? Because
what, the Red Sea products and
yeah, the Red Sea. Listen, yeah, Red Sea is gonna release like a dosing pump,
a skimmer.
Skimmer. I think the important thing, the thing with these is they're going to release their app that's supposed to be able to control all of these.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to be a good thing. They're licensing the Gyre technology for the pump. In terms of the dosing pump and the app, I'm not going to get excited about a company's product until I see it. Like, I think I've been burned enough times with, for instance, when I had the AP700, I bought that thing new. I used it for a year. It was a very expensive light. And a year later, the app was still in beta. So I am excited. The stuff looks good, but you're not going to get me, overly excited and stuff until I see the stuff and see what it can do. The interesting thing with their Gyre is they call it the Reef Wave 20, which runs you about 1,850 gallons per hour. That's only $250. And then what they call the Reef Wave 40, which runs 400 gallons per hour, is only $25 more. Like, that doesn't sound right. But man, that would be a good deal if it's really, if the price is like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get almost double the flow for $25 more. I got that off of Reef Builders, and I'm not sure, that doesn't seem correct to me, but I'm quoting Reef Builders, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna give another tour. Guys said they were seeing West Coast the whole time while I was giving like the tour of the sump. So I'm gonna give another tour of the sump. So give me a second. Let me set that up. All right, can you guys hear me again?
I can hear you.
All right, no one wants to see my face. All right, there you go. And it says I'm being presented. So, All right, guys. So here is my sump. It is a Synergy Reef TS. I think it stands for Triton System 26 sump. I think total it holds about, I think they said when it's full, it holds about 18 gallons. 18 or 20 gallons, I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't know what the 26 is because I don't think it holds 26 gallons. But it's a sump, not a trump, a sump specifically built for Triton.
Hey, Seymour.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, man. You're still not locked in. It's locked in, I think, on my icon.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Listen, man.
Unless you got two clowns in your sump.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What? What is going on? It says I'm being. All right, exclusive. Do me a favor. See if you can jump out for a second, brother, and just let me see if that works. I'm not sure what's going on.
Now we just got your avatar.
You're seeing my avatar?
Yeah.
All right. Can you guys see the tank now?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah. The tank. We're looking at your tank.
All right. That's embarrassing. All right, yeah, here's the sump. Not going to explain everything again. Triton sump, TS26. That's it's about a 10-gallon Refugium. I'm sorry it's growing purple, but I'm using the Refugium light I'm using at this moment is a Kessel. I've been using a bunch of them, but the one I'm currently using is a Kessel H380. And yeah, it's growing Chaeto. This thing fills up about once a month. I'm not using filter socks, so I get a fine dusting of man, this thing got a lot of salt creep. Gotta find dusting of detritus at the bottom there.
What you got on the bottom? What's that filter media? Was it some kind
that
of
is Marine Pure, the Marine Pure balls.
Ah, okay.
I've had those for about 2 years.
You're going to try the max spec ones, though, right?
I did order them. You know what? I got to check and find out why Saltwater Aquarium didn't deliver them yet.
I forgot to order them. I keep, damn.
Yeah, I ordered them from Saltwater Aquarium, which should only take it a day to get to me, and I think I ordered it like last Friday. So I got to check and figure out.
Yeah,
why.
you were talking about it last week. I know.
Yeah. This is a Tunzi 9410 skimmer. Yeah, this is. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't draw as much air as my old skimmer, but it skims well. And the adjustment is easy because it just has that standard Tunzi adjustment, one button that you just turn and you adjust the amount of air. So I like it. I like it. It's small, compact. It fits right in it was a perfect size for the sump compartment, and it skims well. Here's the UV I was talking about. I had a Jabo pump that runs about 100 gallons an hour through it. I'm monitoring the flow with a flow meter, but I think compared to the other setups I used to have, I think this is relatively simple. Just Refugium, skimmer, return pump, and then I'm using an aqua lifter to bubble.
Yeah,
do my bubbling at night. But for me, this is relatively simple because usually it's like my stuff is like a convoluted mess of just stuff going everywhere. But it's for my standards, this is simple and it's working. Can't argue with the results. Now the electronic cabinet, that's a whole different beast that I'm kind of embarrassed to show on camera, but I have the 2016 Apex 2 EB8s. Listen, man, I don't even know what to explain what's going on here. I know I'm dosing. I know I disconnected the amino acids. I'm no longer dosing aminos. There's my GHL doser on top. All my power head cables and everything is just, listen, it is what it is. And
I'm just laughing because I gotta finish up my cord management this Saturday too. I got cords and stuff running in there. I gotta label everything. So my wife keeps asking me, when are you gonna clean up, get this rat's nest? I go, okay, I'll get it this Saturday.
The thing is, when I first, the thing with the Red Sea cabinet is it's hard to drill into. So actually what I did is I built a false cabinet. So actually I just went to Home Depot and, shelf stuff. I literally bought this and just built it. So this is just shelf that I just nailed together. So if anything I'm hanging, I hang it in this, not in the Red Sea stuff. And when I first did this, I'm just promising you that it was a lot neater. It's just that in the years since I've built it, I've probably changed power heads like 3 times. I've changed my sump. I upgraded my Apex. I've changed so much stuff that it's like I go in there every month and or it used to be every month I had a new piece of equipment I was testing. So it just got crazy and I just never fixed it.
Hey, I've got the Apex Classic. I see you got the I forget what they call it, the 16 or what. Was that really a big upgrade? I mean, does that really make a big difference? Or
there's going to be new equipment that's going to come out that the old Apex won't run.
Yeah.
And the new one will. I'm happy with it. It also does power monitoring, which I like. Also, it comes on the side with what's called DC24 ports. Excuse me. So you can use some Neptune equipment without taking up some of your EB8 spaces. So I have a couple of PMUPs. So whenever I'm using those to run carbon, you can plug those here without taking up a power. When I used to run the Neptune dose pumps, you can just plug them in here. So there are some benefits, but I like the power monitoring, and I just like that.
It has its own Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, and it's also Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that would be nice because I had to do my own Wi-Fi with it, and so eventually I'm going to have to upgrade to that.
Well, now it's good because you can just buy the head unit now if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's still economical to get the whole thing because head unit is 400. If you're buying this is 250, and then you get all the probes. So it's you can still get, you won't get power monitoring because you need the new EB8 to get all the power monitoring. But in some instances, getting the head unit could be more economical.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I really like my. I don't take full advantage of my Apex like I probably should, but yeah, I got my Apex for one reason. Then after you get it, you find out there's a lot of reasons, a lot of things you can do with it. But I just had an episode where I was out of town, and my wife, she doesn't know how to control things, turn things on, turn things off, and there was a big anyway. She calls me at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the water's overflowing in the tank, and she doesn't know what to turn off or how to turn off, and so after we got through that little deal, that was the first time I started to hear about Apex and Fusion and stuff. I'm going, man, if I'd had that night, I could have just. I was like 250 miles away. Might as well have been a million miles away, but I could have just turned the pump off or whatever, what the problem was. I could have just turned it off from my phone, And that's what drew me into Apex to begin with. And then once I found out all the other things I could do with it.
I agree. That's how we all get in. We get in. I had a heater fail. That's how I got into Apex. So when you're thinking of getting a couple of timers and a heater controller, it was cheaper to get an Apex. And from there, I just got into, just more things to do with it.
Yep.
Even I had my frag tank overflowed. I had a snail go into my overflow and clogged it. And luckily, I had my leak detection on. Stopped the pumps.
Yeah.
Got my alert. I knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
So helps out a lot.
Seymour, where's your A-cans?
Why are you trying to get me in trouble with Billy, man? Listen,
no, he was asking to see them.
Yeah, there's the A-can, the one that Billy's asking about. There's the A-can, Billy.
Nice.
But there's the other A-cans. I have a whole bunch of A-cans. My Blasto was in my nano tank, and I have to treat it for bryopsis, and some of the polyps died. I moved it here to kind of, watch over it. But man, I have my A-cans. I'm not doing anything with my A-cans, man. They're there. That's the nice fluffy A-can that you can actually pet. So tell Billy his A-cans are in good hands. Billy wants me to show people the difference. Billy, there's a big difference. I think the color in Billy's tank was better, but I think I've grown a couple of heads since I've gotten it. Yeah. Billy's A-cans. Yeah. I don't know. Billy has kind of figured out the whole A-can game. If you want A-cans, go to Billy Pipes. The color that was in Billy's tank is way better than it is in mine, but maybe it's because my phosphates are a little bit high, and Billy is kind of the type of person that keeps his tank meticulously clean. But I'm happy with it. I'm definitely happy with it. Thanks, Billy. I owe you one. Hey, Exclusive, what's going on with the tank, man? He's on mute. All right, West Coast, give us a quick tour if you can.
Quick tour?
Yeah.
All right, let me take my phone off the tripod real quick. All right. Sump area. I don't know if you guys can see that really good, but
yeah, we can see that.
Just got a skimmer. I got 2 reactors back there. One's with carbon that's not really on at all. Then there's a miracle mud in there, the other reactor. Then there's another tray down here at the bottom. with Miracle Mud. Little filter cups with some floss in it. I probably change them out once a week, if that. With a algae scrubber.
Oh, you have an algae scrubber back there?
Yeah. Yep. Put a drop algae scrubber.
Oh, you have it in it's in the first chamber of the sump?
Correct.
Ooh. All right.
Because it just utilizing space in here. You know how small these sumps are.
Yeah.
Seas. So I just threw it in the first chamber. From there, also got the the calcium reactor. Also with another dosing pump that's just got the crow box with some Fido and some Aqua Power. It's a 20-gallon, 20-pound CO2 chain. And over here is where all my electronic stuff, pretty much. I built this out of my old bed frame. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah, you have three. Okay, you have three dosing pumps. What do you?
Correct.
Are you using those dosing pumps to feed the calcium?
No. These right here, these four heads are feeding the Red Sea program. That's it. Now I'm only dosing like a meal and a half a day on that. But the reactor is pretty much just flowing. Got a steady flow through it. I think I keep my pH in my reactor about, right now, since I did a cleaning on my media, it's around 7.8.
That's kind of high in your. Wait, that's your reactor media. You keep the pH in the reactor at 7.8.
I'm sorry, 6.8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 6.8. 6.8 in reactor, and then pretty much this is also plumbed into it. See the frac tank?
Mm-hmm.
So this tank is plumbed into the main system. I just had some got covered up with a little plant. Try to make it look a little good, but that's it. It's really nothing too much. And you can see the corals.
Red Sea is releasing their own version of those filter cups, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's probably like $30 a cup.
Yeah.
But corals are doing good. I just fragged this red planet. That's right there. A bunch of frags on the back there.
Looks good, man. Looks good. Looks like where I want to be.
What size your tank?
It's about 5 feet. So I guess my total gallons is probably about 160 or so.
Well, you have the 525 XL, right?
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so with the 525, so you look at the sump is like 30 gallons, 38 gallons, whatever. So it's really about, they say around 140.
Yeah, we're about 140 because they do it by liter. They do it by liter. So 525 liters is 139 gallons.
Yeah, and then with the frag tank plumbed in, another 25 gallons. But everything's looking good so far.
Yeah, look at that.
Just a little bounce mushroom right there.
When it grows up, it'll be worth $1,000, man.
I know. There's another one right there. But so far, I did have an algae spike when I cleaned my media. Because I didn't start all over, I kind of left my settings the same. You want to kind of bring your settings back when you clean your media. So if my algae spike went from actually normally was, at the time was 8.5, my alkalinity. and then it shot up to 10 quick. So some of my corals right now are not doing too good, but starting to recover. I didn't really lose anything. I just had some discoloration in a lot of corals, but other than that,
Yeah.
I just let it drop down naturally.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
That's good, man. And you look like you just took off the return nozzle.
No, that's the nozzle on the return. That's the RPG, whatever.
Oh, that is. Oh,
I just got one.
From us looking at it straight on, it looks like you just took it off, and it's just okay.
Yeah, sir.
All right. What up, Reef God? Big up. Yeah.
That a yellow chorus wrasse in there?
Yeah, yellow chorus wrasse. Got a couple leopard wrasses in there.
I got one like that, much smaller than that, but couple months back, I got a yellow chorus. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I like the red.
I think I'm done with fish, man. I got a mystery wrasse in there too. I thought he was going a lot of havoc in there, but he's actually been doing good. The only fish that been giving me headache is this freaking tiger goby. Tiger watchman goby, whatever it is. This guy right here.
That's the one that stirred up the sandbed. Oh.
Yeah, man. Tearing up my sandbed. So that's the reason why I kind of went with the low sandbed, and I kind of got rid of a lot of sand because he's just been terrorizing the whole tank. Just all over, big, just mounds. So kind of want to keep him in the back a little bit. So I just got rid of a lot of sand. Either that or get rid of him. I didn't feel like catching him.
He's going to be hard to catch.
Yeah, exactly.
You go bust up all your corals and stuff down the catch. That's the problem, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the issue now with, because I used to get a lot of fish and just rehome them later. But that's the thing, when stuff starts growing, it can get to be a pain in the butt catching.
Yeah. And I can see it now, man. Every time I put my hands in the tank, I'm hitting something. So I'm not even nowhere close to fully going out. So I can imagine when it gets that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, when it gets big, it's the fish themselves that just. Retro Reefs is asking, what power heads are you using?
Those are gyros. Max spec.
What do you have, the 280s, 250s, or the 280s?
It's a 250 and a 150. So I had a 150 first, and then added a 250 later. Are
you using the gyro controller, or?
Yeah, the new gyro controller. I'm using that. I'm on copied CJ's program, but I had to lower it a little bit because it was a little too strong.
It was too strong for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was just my sandbed was going all over the place.
I have two 250s, and I'm running them.
You got two 250s?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and it depends on your aquascape too. So.
Well, but the thing is, they don't run. I'm mimicking the BRS schedule because I have them connected to the Apex. So what happens is, when one's at 80%, the other one's at 20. So it's not like crash. They're always basically together. They're always running at 100%. But if one's at 50, the other one's at 50, and so the flow keeps switching back and forth, until one is on 100%, the other one is off.
Okay.
That's how it works. So they're never both on. Yes, I used to when I used to create a pulsing mode with these. Yes, you had to run it at 50-60% to get a standing wave. If you upped it more than that, I would splash water out the tank.
Yeah, these things are strong, man.
Hey, I'm gonna have to run, guys. I'll catch y'all later. I got a couple of things I need to do. So.
Hey, no problem.
All right, later, man.
Okay. Y'all have a good evening. Bye-bye.
You too.
Yeah, I like my Red Sea tank. There's some stuff about the tank I don't like. Um, the sump, the plumbing, I think, is kind of flimsy. But overall, I like the Red Sea tank. But you know what Red Sea has probably done over the last couple of years is a huge thread on Reef to Reef called the Red Sea Reefer like owners thread.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we've seen is it looks like Red Sea basically goes into that thread and looks for ideas.
Yeah, that new model sump is a little better. With the 650s and 750s.
Yeah.
But the overflow, I mean not the overflow, but the ATO is still useless. It's too small.
I took that thing off almost immediately.
Yeah, I don't use it either. Yeah.
In fact, I turned it into a Refugium eventually. I had it fed by a manifold. It would drain back into the sump, but eventually it was too much to keep up with.
Yeah, I just put a 15-gallon containers in my hallway closet and just fed a tube line to the tank, and it's just a lot easier that way, man. Because with that little 5-gallon or 10-gallon container, with this rimless, evaporation was way too much.
I have about an 18-gallon container, and that lasts me about 2 weeks. And my tank is smaller than yours.
See?
Yeah, I had something custom built for me by Advanced Acrylics. So it's 3 feet high, and it fits right into the corner between my tank and the wall. It's a perfect fit, but I have to refill it every 2 weeks.
See, that's cool. That's another thing with the Apex too. So with the ATO, what I did was I have a 50-gallon storage container of water, RO water, and that feeds my 15-gallon ATO. So when it reaches a certain level, the automatically fills up. So all I pretty much just do is every month or so, make sure that 50-gallon is topped off. So I don't even pretty much mess with my ATO at all. So it works out. And then I get, the Apex as far as putting the 2 sensors in there. I mean, you can pretty much do anything with the Apex. I mean, let you put a low level or a high level alarm on there. I mean, you can do pretty much anything. So it allows me to not have to worry about filling up my ATO all the time.
So with the module for the ATO is the FMM. So basically, what I did is on one basically the top off kit is the PIMA pump, 2 sensors, low and high, and the FMM. So with the extra 2 ports that are free, I've turned one into the flow meter for my UV, so I can see how much flow we're putting into the UV. And the other one, I bought like one of the Neptune Systems optical sensors for I think it was $25. And I've basically turned, so that way I get notified when my ATO is low with an optical sensor. That's how I use it. And it works well. Yeah. I get notified to let me know when I have about 15% left. But
So that's pretty important too, right? When you're sterilizer, you UV sterilizer, as far as making sure that the flow is not too much, right?
Yep. Because I think the manufacturer has their own recommendations, but then BRS gives their own recommendations, which they say if you're trying to kill certain things, you can run up to 200 through it. But if you're trying to kill everything, then make sure you run between 50 and 120. Like they give the numbers, but so they say if you're trying to kill like parasites or whatever, run it at 200, 250. But if you're trying to kill everything, protozoas, everything, run it lower, run it between 50 and 150. So they do give guidance. So I wanted to be, because I was battling dinos, I wanted to be in that, let me kill everything that passes through the UV number.
So you went high.
Yeah. No, I went low.
Low, yeah. The lowest. So that's cool though. That means you can dial it in better instead of guessing.
That flow meters, yeah, and it came with it comes with 3/4 inch female thread. So I just got a reducer, and just because the 1/2 inch flow meter is a male threaded 1/2 inch male threaded. So I just got a reducer. Actually, I got a reducer that reduced it from 1 1/4 down to 1/2 inch in one shot, and it worked.
Nice.
I'm happy with it. I am definitely happy with the UV. I just turned it off for a few days to try to experiment to see, because my electric bill is kind of high, and I have to put the chiller on soon. I know my wife is watching, and she's been handing me the electric bill when it comes, like here. So I'm just trying to turn a few things off, just be more, more mindful.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I am going to turn my T5s off because it is late, and I've finished showing off the tank. So if you look behind me, I'm running 2 Radion XR15. It looked kind of weird because I was experimenting seeing. So the one on left that I'm pointing to on the left, but that one doesn't have a diffuser on. This one I had the diffuser on, but you know what? To be honest, I like the non-diffuser with these lights. So I've actually, I take the diffuser off, but you have to do some screwing to get it back to factory. So I haven't done that, but I don't like the diffusers. I prefer my Radions without these diffusers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from what I heard, probably because you got the T5s too. If you didn't have the T5s, you might like the diffusers a little bit better. You think so?
It could be, because I like the Kessel shimmer. I do like the intense Kessel shimmer, but the first type of lights I had over this tank was T5 with the Kessels. And the thing about the T5s is it mutes the Kessel shimmer so much that it makes it fine. The Kessel shimmer, when you have a lot of surface agitation and you have like all blues, the Kessel shimmer can be intense, almost hard to look at. But when you're running that with the T5s, it
kind of drowns it out a little bit.
Yes, it makes it look. It gives it enough shimmer that it looks good for the balance. I think you're right. It might be the T5s. You know what? I'm gonna shoot some video tomorrow of the diffuser kit and the with and without diffuser, and leave the T5s and see if I can do a difference. See if I can see a difference on video. That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think maybe with the T5s, it just drowned. To me, it looks like you were getting no shimmer at all, no movement. The tank just looked like I was running all T5s, all flat.
And that's with the Kessels or with the Radions?
No, the Radions. The Radions.
Okay, with the Radions, with
the diffuser. The
diffuser's on there. Yeah.
Flat. Yeah. It's almost like a blanket coverage of light, almost no shimmer, and it didn't look. Yeah.
Yeah, because those diffusers do take away some of your shimmer.
But I think you might be onto something new. I think you might be on. I think you're saying the T5s kind of maybe drown out, the Radions shimmer too much. The T5s and the diffusers drown out the shimmer too much. Where, maybe I don't like it. So I'll see. I have it, so why not try it and see what happens?
Yeah. I'm glad I went T5s too, man. I mean, I love the Radions too, but it's a different look.
Blank
the T5s.
You can put corals anywhere, and they get
exactly.
The Radions. Yes, if you have 3 of them. You didn't need any.
I didn't.
You didn't, but you would need. I'm not gonna mention any prices because my wife is watching, but we know how much. We know how much those lights cost. I've been trying to do what is my reef tank light? What does my reef tank cost video for a while now?
Man, I left that alone, man.
Listen, man, my wife now watches. My wife is now kind of into the hobby. She now watches my videos and she watches other people's videos. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it alone too.
I just leave it alone. I don't even count money no more. It's
Yeah.
just, it is what it is.
Yeah. So, yeah, with 3 or 4 units, you're doing an SPS dominated tank.
Pretty much, yeah.
You could, with 3 or 4, you'd have blanket coverage, but the P5s, they make a difference.
Yeah.
Reef Dude is saying that is not a video. It's a video he has not made on purpose.
For real, man.
My wife threw out a number at me the other day. She said, "Oh, you probably spent like a week."
And then think about how much you lost of stuff that's
oh man, don't get
that's
me.
gone.
Don't get me. Jeez.
Not the stuff that you still got, that you're still using, but the stuff that you lost.
Every time my wife like some kind of euphilia dies, I get blamed for it. So,
yeah.
Yep. Dave said never ever added up old. Never. Woo.
I totally agree.
Maybe I'll get bold enough one day and do a video. But I have had a few people contact me on Facebook and such and say, hey, how much did this? I got a message from YouTube the other day where someone said, hey, how much did it cost? Like, give me a breakdown. You should do that video. I don't know, I don't know if someone was trying to bait me, but I actually considered doing that video. Ignorance is bliss. I agree with you, brother. I agree. I do love the aquatic life. I just made some notes about some of the new products at Interzoo. So let me just see if there's anything. Hey Alex, how you doing? He says my wife knows how much it all was. Ah.
Yeah, mine too, but I still don't talk about it.
This, the Focus One lights that move, swivel from left to right. They're coming out with a new version 2 called the Focus 2 Pros. And this way, the light doesn't just swivel from left to right. You can actually have it swivel from front to back. Now, listen, I don't think it's for me. I think it's better built. I don't think it's for me. But, it's just interesting. It's interesting. I know Michael Aaron's Aquarium is running the Focus One left to right on his tank. But interestingly, with the article I read on Reef Builders and somewhere else, it says they have a lot more LEDs in it now, including, UV and a few other LEDs that were missing from the original. So it also has extra LED strips. So, one of the complaints that users had is when it's swiveled to one section of the tank, and when it's pointing at one section of the tank, the other section of the tank is dark. So they kind of have some LEDs to, we'll see. That was interesting. We talk about the Red Sea dosing pump, Red Sea gyres. The interesting thing about the Red Sea stuff to me is they're going to make an app that's going to control all their products, the skimmers, the gyre, and the dosing pump. So I don't know if they were just using rebranded stuff. Some manufacturers basically, when they have new products, it's not actually new. There's a rebranding something that's already there. So it'll be interesting to see Red Sea stuff and how good it is.
The dosing pump looks like the Coral box.
I didn't want to say that on camera, West Coast. No, I might want to get a try it out, but it looks similar. That's all I'm gonna say. It looks similar.
Yeah, but they probably want like $300-400 for the dosing pump.
There's no price. I didn't see any price. I didn't see any price.
Yeah,
I didn't see any price. Well,
I think I'll stick with my Coral box.
To be honest, the software, like I said, I think the difference that they're doing is the software. Like the Gyre, they've made a new controller, and they make an app that's supposed to control all of this together. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Reef Builders made a mistake. I gotta say that Reef Builders made a mistake. But according to their article, They're gyro pumps. One is called the Reef Wave 20. That's going to be 1,800 gallons an hour, right? For $250. And then you get 4,000 gallons an hour, which is more than double the flow for only $25 more. That doesn't quite sound right, huh?
Mm-hmm. That might be an error.
You telling me you get double the flow rate? Like, which other pump manufacturer do you get double the flow rate for only $25 more?
You might as well go with the higher one.
If the size isn't a big difference, you might as well get the bigger one and just turn it down. So you know what, man? I'm gonna put an asterisk next to that because just the numbers there just. If that is true, then it's kind of too good to be true.
So you thinking about getting it and take away your you got GHL, right?
I have a GHL dose. GHL doser.
So you're gonna get rid of your GHL for that, or?
Oh man, I like my GHL. I just hate the GHL software.
Okay.
The GHL software isn't very good. First, I use Windows for work, but I use Macs at home. Like West Coast. I haven't used Windows at home in like 6 or 7 years. I literally had to go out and buy a copy of Windows in order to set up my dosing phone.
Yeah, I don't know how to use Windows either.
Yeah, so you know that was a little weird to me that I couldn't configure. You had to download something that looked like a Windows 98 app connected to via USB, and you know that was the most painful part of the app. But eventually, when you got it connected to the internet, it's not as nice as Fusion, but there is a myghl.com where you can log in and make changes to your pump. But to my dosing pump, that's how I change dosing. But it's not as slick as it's nowhere near close to what Fusion is, but it works. They're getting there. Fusion has had, years of head start, so I'm going to give them some time.
Yeah.
The other thing that was kind of, there's a bunch of other, I think we spoke about the Giesman Stellar. There were some Chaeto reactors, some algae reactors. The other thing that I think is worth mentioning is Triton. And man, I hear people in the chat groaning already about, we talk about Triton so much, but Triton is supposedly releasing a new sort of test that allows you to test for, some of the more organic elements in our reef tanks, such as maybe nitrate, alkalinity, some of the other stuff, which that should be interesting. And then I guess they're releasing their own carbon dosing regimen called carbon fast, carbon medium, and carbon slow. I guess depending on how fast you want to reduce nutrients. Again, I'm getting this from Reef Builders, and the article was really, sometimes the Reef Builders article is just like an excitement, like, hey, this is a new product. It doesn't give anything.
Yeah.
So
don't tell you too much.
Yeah. That's all I know so far on it. But I mean, I'm not gonna do the carbon dosing, but I am interested in that new Triton test. What is it gonna test for? What is it going to test for? I'm definitely interested. Oh, and there is going to be a tweak to the cartons, and they're going to ship with a new cardboard sleeve. Yay. But I think we've been hearing this for months now. As a Triton user, whatever, because we've been hearing they're going to fix. We've been hearing that they're going to fix the cardboard for a while now, and they have new cardboard coming. And now you're at Interzoo in May of 2018 announcing that you're fixing the cartons and you're going to start shipping them better.
You need to make them like containers like the Red Sea's dosing, the new dosing, like the A, B, C, and D. The containers like that, where you can just go ahead and put the tube in and you're ready to go. That's how the new Red Sea bottles are coming now.
But Triton had See, in the UK, what happened in the UK is they used to put them in the plastic bottles. When I first started doing Triton, I used to get them in the plastic bottles, right? When they switched to the milk cartons, you know, they actually dropped the price for the UK guys. So the price went down by about, I think, $5 or $6 per set. You know, because they said it costs less to make this new carton, so we're going to pass the prices on to the consumers. Nothing like that happened to us. We just started getting leaky containers.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm glad they're announcing tweaks to the cartons and everything, but listen,
That's
man,
not good customer service, though, man.
we've been hearing that for months, man, and for them to go to Interzoo and finally announce this, excuse me if I'm a Triton user, but I'm not happy. Yeah. Reef is asking, oh, what's your thought on Alcatronic? These are these Alc monitors. Hey, I'm excited, but that Alcatronic is $1,000. Honey, do not.
I think it's cool, but
don't,
I wouldn't depend on it as primary. I would never go with that as gold. I would probably use that. But it makes adjustment by itself, right? The Alcatronic.
You know,
is that the one that makes adjustment by itself, or you have to tell it to make adjustment?
No, it doesn't make. It doesn't make. What it does is just a monitor, and then I think because the data that it sends out via like a standard, like I think it's a BNC or standard pH probe connector. You can actually feed that data into your Apex by the like your ORP or your secondary pH port. Yeah. So it's compatible with third-party aquarium controllers via the BNC connector. So whatever your pH, when you're buying Apex, you can use it. That ORP port is also configurable to a pH port. So I guess you just unplug the ORP and just connect this in, and you just change the name, and whatever value it sends, you know, the Apex, I guess, receives it like a pH number.
I mean, so that's the same thing as the Triton that's about to come out, right?
Yes. It's the same. Except the Triton is going to give you calcium, alkalinity, magnesium.
I'd rather have that one. You get 3 tests, and the other one gives you 1.
I know. Is TMG in the chat? I know TMG is like really excited. He's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna use this to adjust my dosing."
I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
No way, no way, no way. What I will do is use it to see trends, but there's no way I'm going to take like a product that's new and is going to say, oh, I'm going to use this to dose my tank. Absolutely not.
Nah, I would use it, and if I see a trend, like you said, a trend, and then I'll double check that with my Hannah to make sure, and then I would probably make an adjustment. But I wouldn't allow that to determine my adjustment, you know?
Yeah, no way. No way. Absolutely no way. I don't trust it. It's too new and I don't trust it. Reef Dude says he would keep a close eye on it before he allowed it to dose. I don't think, you know, if you're on vacation and you see your alkalinity dropping by a few percentage points, I don't listen. I'm here sweating bullets just thinking about it. I can't.
I think I'll probably wait till I got to see my tank.
It's so easy for me to. I mean, how long are we gonna? Let's say you're on vacation and you're away on your tank for a week, and you see alka dropping. Like, I don't think anything is gonna die versus you waiting, you know, a week to come home and adjust your dosing. I don't see. I can't see any kind of consumption going up that fast in a week. Where I don't know, man. I'm just nervous about doing it. I definitely am interested. We're not going to mention any prices or how much it costs, but I'm definitely interested. But it's something I'm interested in getting and testing. But in terms of automatically adjusting dosing based on it, I don't think so.
Dang, nice tank. Whose tank is that?
DMs.
Nice.
Hey, DMs, man. Tell us a little bit about the tank, man. He's on mute.
Okay.
He probably doesn't realize he's on mute.
No, I did. My kids were watching wrestling, so you gotta watch some wrestling. It's a 240. I got all different variety of chalices. I got my filter on so that everybody.
Yeah.
That's a Bauer Banky right there. That's my newest coral today. It's pretty big. It's probably 6 inches long by 5.5 inches wide. Got a great deal on it. So other than that, these are all chalices. I don't know the names of them all. A lot of chalices, more corals. Fully dominated like SPS, and I don't have nothing extraordinary. I mean, my newest ones
good, man.
I got couple Jason Foxes, but other than that, everything else is standard. Just easy to grow corals to me, anyways. I don't know if they're.
Hey, how long is the tank? Is it what? 6 feet?
My tank is 7 foot. I thought it was
7
8
foot. Yeah, it's long, man.
7 by 2 by 27.
I wish I had room for something that big.
Well, you have a 5-foot tank and then a cabin tank. I think if you combine everything, you have about 7 foot safe.
Want to get new lighting, but these are all my little controls. I run a calcium reactor, 2 M1s. I went and got another M1 pump for my protein skimmer. Got one for my return, 3 MP40s, and then there's my little display Refugium. But I just cleaned out a bunch of potatoes, so.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's getting there. I want to get some different lighting for up in the house here, but for right now, I'm just gonna keep it the way it is.
Man, it looks real good.
It does. The colors look. You have a gel filter on, but still, the colors look good.
Yeah, if I took it off, I mean, you couldn't just really make out anything. But all these colors are still 100%. They just look a little bit better when it's kind of close too, because this is the orange glasses. But what you see, it's mainly green. It's pretty close to that, except for it's not. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's my bad.
Yeah, I've seen enough gel. So wow, it looks good though. You have
I like it. I like it either. I like it both ways, especially when you put the glasses on, But
yeah, when you sit on the glasses look nice.
Yeah.
Sit back on the couch.
But yeah, this thing, I'm hoping it started receding a little bit, and the guy that bought this Banky is he didn't want it to die, so I got a great deal on it. This thing's sick, dude. I love it. Only thing is, my copper band is I might have to get rid of them.
Ooh, he's picking on it.
Yeah, I mean, I did feed it, so I don't know if he was going after the food. So I've been watching him because I have these 8 cans over here. I got one down there, one back there, and they're alive. So I'm assuming, I don't know if he just likes that one because it's the more expensive one. But I got to keep an eye on them. I'm hoping I don't have to because I've always I've raised this fish to eat from my hands,
Yeah, I loved my copper man when I had him, but he was I was trying to lighten my bioload, so.
Yeah, I think my phone's about to.
Yeah, mine stopped eating.
All right. Yes, well, I've been streaming for 15 minutes, so if you guys are gonna go, I think this is a good time to kind of stop the streaming for your night.
All right.
Thank you, everyone who's in the chat. Reef Dudes, Alex G's, Melanie, Stephanie, DM's Reef, Ash. Hey, Ash. Dave was in earlier. Mike the Reefer. I know Reef Keeper was in earlier. Tina. CJ's back. Hey, CJ, man, we're just about to shut down, man.
Okay. Y'all can shut it down, man. I just came to come grab some food.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I'm just about to shut it down, man. Everyone's phone is about to die.
Okay. All right. I'll catch y'all later.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Everyone, thanks for joining. All right.